Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you today? Welcome to our event, Before and After COVID. My name is Jacqueline Torres. I am the English Department Coordinator, and today we're going to have this beautiful event to share with you guys from our Polytechnical University in Cuautitlán Izcalli, aka UPSI, aka UPCA. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us. I really hope that you like all the things that we have prepared for you guys, and this is just for us to have a wonderful time with all the analysis that our friends, professors, and students have made for us according to all the different countries which have been mostly affected by all this pandemic. And well, let's hope that you like it. So please let me introduce you to our rector, Lisette Martinez Plata. So welcome, my dear rector. Some words by you, please.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our online event before and after COVID. This event will be divided into two parts. In the first one, we will listen to various testimonies from people, students, and professors belonging to our community who have traveled to different parts of the world. They will tell us about how those experiences enrich their knowledge and broaden their perspective about what the world has to offer at all levels. The second part of this event will be destined to the analysis our students from English Intro made about some of the most affected countries around the world due to the pandemic caused by COVID-19, as well as a contrast before and after the pandemic to such countries, taking us to the new reality we all live in nowadays. These kind of events help us to share information about the current circumstances we face as a global society and be aware of the repercussions that affect everybody. Please stay with us during this broadcast and witness how our UPCI community is always updated, socially driven, and sharing experiences with the world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for those very inspiring words, Rector Liz. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, so let's move on a little bit with our event. The very first video that we're going to have, it's belonging to the first part of our sections. So all the event has been divided into two sections. The first one is going to be about the different presentations that we have from our colleagues. Let's say we're going to have two professors and two students in this very first part. So they are going to be speaking to us about their experiences traveling to different countries. So this is very, very good knowledge about the different experiences and situations they went through as co-national Mexicans going to different parts of the world. All right. So the very first is going to be our dearest Professor Alejandro Sepúlveda Barrera from Biomedical and Energy Careers. And his trip, it's about going to China. All right. So thank you very much for this. IT guys, please hit the video.
Hi, hello everyone. I am Alex Sepúlveda and I am professor here en la Universidad Politécnica de Cuautitlán Izcalli. And I'm going to share with you my experience about my travel to China. Last year I went to China through a scholarship paid by the Chinese government. At that time, I received the permission and all the support from the university authorities. With an approximate trip of 21 hours, I left Mexico City to Beijing, where we were accommodated in a hotel with an area of conference room. The promotion seminar from the machinery and the electronics industry began with a very intense first week of training from 8 morning to 6 evening, of course, with 2 hours of lunch. And the training was given by many experts in the different strategic sectors, explaining from the cultural aspect of China to aspects of the construction industry, telecommunications, information technology, military industry, transportation, automobile industry, equipment manufacturing, and other goods. Aspects as a foreign trade, legal background, international markets. In the second week, we traveled to different companies near to Beijing, in where we were held meeting with their businessmen. Then the third and the fourth week, we moved to 5 more cities of China, traveling by high-speed train and by plane. These cities, Hangzhou, Huzhou, and Yiwu, and another. In these cities, we had meetings and dinners with businessmen and with government people from the different municipalities. We visited a large number of companies to learn how they operate. We closed in the to visit the largest market in the world and to know the projects of China as a nation to make a new Silk Route. With this, they are gonna have a direct market to Europe. Another project is Made in China 2025, where Chinese companies want to pass from the manufacturer country to a brand positioners, and this work is supported by many years of experience in manufacturing. Of course, there are no great trips without knowing the iconic or emblematic points of this Chinese culture, and they took us to visit the very impressive and extraordinary sites as the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City, that is beautiful, the Tiananmen Square, and we visited the tea ceremony in Beijing, the important silk gallery, and other places as Buddhist and Taoist temples, many national parks, and very clean recreation areas, beautiful lakes in different provinces of China. And he has a great infrastructure installed for national parks. Of course, they have a big problem of pollution, but they have now different projects to treat them. For me, it was an important trip because I broke all myths that I have from that country on issues like food and living conditions. Everything was wonderful, and I bring many things for me on a professional and a personal level. And now it's a part of me. as I do in my old travels. And now I have a group of friends that we call international family. And thanks for your attention. This was my experience. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, I really hope you like it. It was marvelous, beautiful landscapes, beautiful pictures that our dearest professor Alex has shown in this video for us. So guys, as you can see, this is just one of the many experiences we're going to be witnessing throughout this before and after COVID event, just for this very first part of the event. So please hang on to the second. But so in this case, please witness, all the marvelous knowledge that our professors and students are going to share with us today. So moving on, guys, I'm going to introduce to you our second video. So this is by our student, Marco Edwin Arriaga, and this is his trip to Canada. This student is from IBT into the 9th period. So please enjoy. IT guys, please share it with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Marco Edwin Arrega Hernandez, a biotech engineering 9th quarter student in Universidad Politécnica de Cuautitlán Izcalli, and today I'm going to share with you how my experience about studying 1 month in Canada thanks to the Proyecta 10,000 scholarship was. This scholarship gave me the opportunity to study an intensive English course in St. Lawrence College located in the province of Kingston, which is one of 2 universities located in this place. There were several things that I like about it. For example, there were many restaurants inside of the building. There was a huge library with all kinds of books that you can imagine. Also, there was a small pub which you can go after class to spend time with your friends or drink something, and afterwards you can continue studying or go home. These are just some areas that the college had, but there were many more. Before arriving to the St. Lawrence College building, I realized that there were many people outside. Some of those people were my family, and oh yes, I had the opportunity to live with a real Canadian family in order to learn how they lived every day, which their day-to-day activities were, and many more things. When I arrived home, I was the only student there. I had my own room and all my personal stuff there. But after some days, 2 guys arrived, and my question was, who are they? Well, they were my roommates. I had 2 male roommates, one from China and the other one from Japan. They were my best friends during all my staying there. Nowadays, I remember them very fondly. In my first day at school, I received an itinerary where many activities had been planned for all my month there. Every day after school, I could go visit as many places as I wanted. Among those planned activities, some of them were special. The first one was to visit Toronto, the capital of Canada, in which I could see many beautiful landscapes. I could see the Parliament building, and that birthday there was a plus. There were many decorations, such as a big stage in the middle of the town. That was because 2 days later, it was gonna be the Canadian Day, which represents the independence of Canada. I also had the opportunity to celebrate this amazing day and feel part of the Canadian community. Another special activity, and the most unforgettable one for me, was to visit Niagara Falls. I went to one of the most beautiful and important places all around the world. I had the opportunity to take the ferry to get close to the falls, to be able to hear their sound, to feel the water spraying on my face, and in my personal opinion, it is an experience that you have to live at least once in your lifetime. All of this was possible thanks to the UPSI, and it is something that I'm gonna be always grateful for. I really hope that all the UPSI community has this opportunity someday. Briefly, this is a just little fragment about my experience in Canada. I hope you like it. This is all for me. I send you my kindest rewards, and don't forget to be safe and stay home. And remember, we are UPSI and we are Phoenix.
All right, another very, very good video with a lot of information for us. So I really enjoy all the enthusiasm, our classmates, our professors, our fellow, colleagues all around are showing in this video. So thank you very much for your permanence with us, guys. So this was another beautiful piece of information that we just received about this student and his trip to Canada. So let's hit it. And now I'm going to introduce you to our third video. And this is by another professor. This is Angel Merino Valdez and his trip to Canada. This professor collaborates with us in the three careers that we offer: the engineering in biomedics, the engineering in biotechnology, and the engineering in energy. So let's enjoy this video. IT guys, Athos and Mike, please share it with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Ángel Merino Valdez and I am a professor in Universidad Politécnica de Cuautitlán Izcalli in the three majors: biomedics, biotechnology, and energy. I want to tell you about my experience traveling abroad thanks to the scholarship granted to me by the government of the state of Mexico as well as by the authorities of this university. Traveling abroad around the city of Kingston in Canada has been one of the experiences that have changed my way of seeing life. We leave our countries with the idea of traveling to improve our knowledge regarding to the English language and the culture that we are going to learn about, the new customs, the new places, and the possibility that we will have to use our knowledge in another language, applying it in our day-to-day life during our trip, which is true. We are amazed by the landscapes, places, and people we meet, the respect that all the citizens in that country seem to have for others, and how they take care of the environment. They make us think about what we could achieve if we apply some of this to our environment. Also, being away from my family and my country made me realize how important it is to be part of a bilingual university. Consequently, we learn how valuable our places of origin, our students, colleagues, bosses, and everyone around are. We treasure the richness of our culture in history and how well recognized it is along the world. I invite all of the students and my colleagues from the university to continue working hard and striving hard, as they will see that everything else has a reward in the future. Thank you, UPSI. Thanks for everything. Training good people, creating great professionals.
All right, this was a beautiful video by our colleague and fellow Professor Angel Merino. It is exactly right. You know, when we travel, far away from home, sometimes we just get homesick. But it also helps us, get in touch with all, the beautiful opportunities that are out there for us, out there, let's say far away from home in the rest of the world. So thank you very much for your permanence with us, guys. And well, let's continue with our very next video. So I'm now going to introduce you to this fourth segment that we have, and this is presented by our student, Joel Enriquez Rodriguez, and his trip to Canada. This student, it's part of our biotechnological staff, let's say, well, staff as part of the students, of course, into the 9th period or the 9th month in here. All right, so let's enjoy. Guys, please share this with us.
Hello, my name is Joel Enrique Rodriguez. I am a student in UPSI, and I am currently studying the major in biotechnology engineering. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience when being in Canada. Firstly, I want to talk about the fact that I have previously traveled to different countries in the American continent, like Chile, Panama, Cuba, Colombia, and the United States. But my trip to Canada was a completely different experience in contrast to my other trips because of the different cultures. It completely changed a lot from the Mexican culture. For instance, in Canada, you may see people following the traffic rules, being kind to others no matter their nationality or skin, You see clean streets and efficient public transportation, beautiful buildings and architecture, and the famous Lake Ontario. So I have to say that the things I mentioned before are not important, but they allow me to be fascinated with Canada and its culture. In that trip, I also loved to try new things to eat, including the famous maple syrup. That is delicious. But my favorite Canadian food was the poutine. As closure, I can say the things I liked the most about Canada were the friendships I developed with the foreigners and with my OPSI classmates that are the best persons ever. Thanks for your attention.
All right, guys. So this has been another evidence of which is the beautiful things that we can do, when the government, of the state of Mexico grants us with all these different scholarship opportunities for our students and professors. So it's really good that we can count on this, great opportunity for everybody to just travel around the world. And now, guys, we're moving on to the second part of our event. So this time, we're going to have a section dedicated to exactly what gives the name to this event that we're presenting to you today, which is the before and after COVID. So now we're going to have the analysis of these three different intro groups. So the intro students are our newest students. All right, so they're giving their very best efforts in order for us, to witness what they have been doing, with their English classes, as well as, with their very professional analysis, in the best standards, taking a look at all the different situation in the countries that they analyze prior, to the pandemic and after. So taking back into this new reality we all live in. Okay, so let me please introduce you to our very first intro group, and this is going to be Intro C, presenting our student Eduardo Islas, and he is introducing the United States. Stay with us and please enjoy. Athos, Mike, please share this with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Jair Eduardo Islas Neria. I'm the group Intro C, and I am going to talk about the situation that is happening in USA. Nowadays, we live a situation that affects us in many ways. It makes us think that it will never end. But we have to think that the virus came to stay. It has impacted all the countries in very different ways, and the United States was one of the most affected. It has the second position of contagions only behind China. But with Donald Trump in the presidency, the situation got worse because he never measured the consequences that the virus could do. And thanks to that, the economic situation of the United States collapsed. It reached the first place in infections by COVID-19, affecting companies and hitting their stock market, increasing unemployment in many parts of the United States. Those considering Donald Trump the worst president of the United States due to the number of deaths generated in the country. But how was one of the world powers before the arrival of the virus? It's well known that it was a model country. People could go out to the streets without any major problem. But even before the arrival of the virus to the USA, the unemployment rate was already high. That is why, with the arrival of the virus, the economy in the USA plummeted abruptly. And not only that, also with the arrival of the virus, it was observed that the USA was not all that it seemed to be, and that was due to the corruption that exists within the country, where the poorest or the least privileged lost much more than money. Even worse, with the arrival of the virus, Donald Trump announced that traveling was cancelled in certain states, totally isolating the USA from the world. So nowadays, little by little, the USA begins to recover, or at least seems so. After so much time with closed stores, companies, schools, and malls, today they begin to reopen, helping reduce the economic blow that the country received. Unfortunately, unemployment is the only thing that doesn't decrease. Even if businesses and venues begin to reopen with a minimal capacity of people, not all of them return to work. On the other hand, the least privileged are still unemployed, thus diminishing what we knew as the American dream. However, some schools still operate under virtual online classes to ensure the safety of students. Although tensions have reduced, it doesn't mean that the use of a mask will also do so, because in many places in the United States it's mandatory to wear it. Despite the effort that the United States has made, they are still far from returning to normality, or at least it will not return quickly, depending on each citizen to abide by health regulations in order to prevent the virus from spreading further. Even if though there are not good projections for the United States, it doesn't mean that they cannot overcome the situation. Since, as mentioned previously, the United States is one of the world's leading powers, and getting out of the situation in which they find themselves depends on the government's decisions how to manage the country's income to get ahead. That is a situation that is not only happening in USA, if not that in the whole world, and it's our responsibility to follow the health regulations so that we can stop this in the future and be able to return to what we colloquially know as normal. Without more to say, I either said that we are Phoenix, we are Upsi.
Okay, guys, wonderful analysis. Sad but true. That is a reality different parts of the world have been confronting. So this is just a piece of evidence that we can all, make a contrast with all the different things that we listen to every single day in the news, in the newspapers, and the social networks. So before we continue, please do not forget to continue sharing these links, with your friends, family, co-workers, etc. So we can continue enjoying, the next presentations that we have by our intro students. So being the exact next step in here, so please let me introduce you to my dearest student. She is my student. She is Dani Saiz, and this is from Intro D Group, and she's introducing to us what Italy went through. Thank you very much. IT guys, there we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Luisa Daniela Saiz Calderon Gutierrez. I'm studying biotechnology engineering, and today I'll talk to you about Italy before and after COVID. Before the pandemic, Italy was one of favorite places for tourism because of its art, history, economy, gastronomy, and culture. A trip through Italy has always been an artistic tour for visitors. Italy's economy is the eighth biggest in the world. In Europe, Italy's economy is the third most important after Germany's and France's. Its economy is based on industry and tourism. With the advent of coronavirus, tourism has so markedly fallen. Its economy has been totally affected. Italy, like all countries, has had the need to close small and big businesses, prohibit flight departures as well as arrivals, and stop goods production. As a result, low trade and unemployment have increased. However, the pandemic also brought good things for Italy and the world, for nature overall. For instance, the Venice Canal was heavily polluted by the flow of gondolas and tourists visiting the place. After that, the Venice Canal has ceased to have tourists and gondolas passing through it. Now, it has clear water and even fish flowing through it. At the beginning of this year, some online newspapers published a report saying that an Italian city was the true origin of COVID. In November 2019, in the region of Lombardy, a strange case of pneumonia had appeared just weeks before doctors learned about the COVID outbreak in China. Most deaths in Italy took place in Lombardy, representing two-thirds of the official number of the disease recorded at that time in Italy. Between March and April, Italy has surpassed China's death record, registering 11,705 contagions within 24 hours. From this, the Prime Minister of Italy decided to implement a unique experiment with which he was trying to test all the Italians who wanted to do it willingly. All the inhabitants ran the test and the infected ones could be isolated in time to prevent further spread. Thanks to this experiment, the growth of the contagion curve strongly slowed down. Its growth showing a record of 1,389 contagions within 24 hours. Statistics remain low for many months, but currently a second wave of contagions has taken place. For this reason, the curve is increasing again. Despite that, the curve has remained at a not so high level. The inhabitants continue to take their safety measures, distance with other people, constant hand washing, and the use of face masks. However, the Prime Minister doesn't want to stop trade again. He says that the country isn't ready for that, and it couldn't stand another economic downfall again. Thanks for your attention. I hope you have a nice day. We are Phoenix, we are Oopsie.
Well, hello guys. Now you can see exactly what happens, when we actually pay attention and follow the regulations we are supposed to. So we really don't get that affected, and we can actually diminish, the contagion rates that we have been suffering all through the world, like having all this different, death in, our houses, people around us. It's terrible. And exactly, as Danny said in her analysis about Italy, this is, corresponding to the entire world. We cannot continue living into this kind of, economic crisis. And if we just go back to this, red light, everybody's going to be even mostly affected. Oh, well, Thank you very much for this analysis. Thank you very much for you guys to continue with us. And now let me introduce you to our very last video tonight, this afternoon, this morning. I'm so excited. I'm very happy about it. So let me introduce you to our Intro E group. And this presentation is about Iran. And our student presenting this is Mauricio Martinez Sanchez. Thank you very much for your permanence. And IT guys, please, there we go.
Hello, my name is Mauricio Martinez Sanchez. I am 22 years old and I study biotechnology in the UPSI. We are going to talk about the before and after of the pandemic situation in Iran. My team is formed by Hernandez Alba Azul and Sanchez Telles Julian Ramon. This global crisis affects all the countries around the world by slowing down its economy, forcing them to take up different ways never seen before. But its impact on Iran, one of the early epicenters of the outbreak, has been particularly severe, with official figures of nearly 75,000 confirmed cases and over 4,600 deaths. It is among the top 10 hardest hit countries, exacerbated by the effects of US sanctions and the Trump administration's maximum pressure campaign. The economic fallout is likely to be wide-ranging and severe, hampering the government's ability to effectively respond to the crisis. Optimistic estimates put the impact in 2020 at around 15% GDP, while others suggest it could be far worse, reaching as high as 30%. It is also likely to result in massive job losses, which, if not addressed swiftly and effectively, could lead to political and social unrest in the near future.
Impact on employment. The Iranian labor market was already suffering from high unemployment rates before the pandemic, especially among the college-educated youth. In the best-case scenario, the estimated economic contraction in 2020 will put 3 or 4 million jobs at risk, potentially pushing the actual unemployment rates from around 20% now to more than 35% in just a few months. The timing could not have been worse, because Nowruz, the Persian New Year, that marks the first day of strength, is the most profitable period of the year for many of the country's small businesses, retail stores, ground and air transportation, restaurants, and hotels.
In Iran, those work in the informal economic and today wage earners, which make up nearly a quarter of the 24 million working Iranians, are likely to be the worstly affected, with no fixed salary, leading to having an inadequate government from formal insurance and social protection schemes. These workers face to great risk of infection as they cannot afford to stop working and are fully dependent on their daily earnings. Aware of this fact, worried that a strict quarantine measure will immediately push an additional 20% of the population into extreme poverty, which could potentially brew more social unrest. The Iran government has shied away to the imposing a strict quarantine measure that epidemiologists recommended to slow down to the rate and the virus spread. In other words, faced with a medium room trade-off between the economic and public health, the Iranian government seemed to choose the economic. However, no matter the government's policies regarding the quarantine, the 3.4 million job losses associated with a sudden and deep economic contraction in 2020 seem to be inevitable. As a result, the government is claiming to offer loans to the 23 million households already receiving monthly cash transfer subsidies. Now has a journey. However, given the minuscule size of the 10 loans, less than 55 or equivalent to the monthly income needed for a family of 2 in Iran to remain just above the extreme poverty line. The effectiveness of such measure in reducing the economic impact of COVID-19 is highly questionable.
Given the dire state of affairs, these small gestures aren't enough about the disappointment with how the government managed both the economy and the pandemic. The COVID-19 related economy downturn in 2020 will only add to the high levels of frustration among the two tails of the labor force, university educated and workers.
Moreover, with 3 consecutive years of economic contraction in 2018, 2019, and 2020, the economy of Iran has a lot of problems about how to absorb all of these graduates who already facing unemployment rates upwards of 30% even before the pandemic. Collapse resulting from COVID-19 will likely only add to the defrustration of these two groups who don't have much to lose and have little to hope for in terms of economic aspirations.
Counterbalancing effects. Economies around the world have been severely affected by the pandemic, and Iran was not the exception. It is also impossible to ignore the central role of the USA. Sanction the recent faltering of Iran's economy and its capacity to fight the diseases. Imposing additional sanctions on Iran and pressuring the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, to reject Iran's request for an emergency loan of $5 billion are the latest moves by the Trump administration as it seeks to shock the Iranian economy at the time when the country and the world are hit hard by the pandemic.
In conclusion, anything about modern human life has survived. On the other hand, the internet, which made life easier and more accessible in this time of quarantine, with limited access to meeting between people, is helping a lot. Despite all global restrictions, Iran remains a high-consuming and reachable for foreign campaigns for prepare the external business in the age post-COVID-19. Thanks for the attendance. And remember, we are Phoenix, we are UPSI.
All right, guys, welcome back. So exactly, just as this, beautiful presentation by our students, of Intro E, that is exactly, what has been reflecting all around. So every single part of the world has been affected by this pandemic we're still going through. So let's just take the very best shot, and try to be respectful to all the regulations so we can, get avanti, with all of this and just stop suffering all these, dreadful consequences. Now, we're very close to the end, guys, but before we finish, I would like to introduce one more time our dearest rector, Lizeth Martinez Plata. So she's going to give us a very, very fun message and also a greatness to all the authorities by the state of Mexico who have been helping us, make all these dreams real. Okay, so thank you very much, and please welcome Lizeth.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everyone. We have seen the great opportunities that our students and professors have had with the mobility scholarship granted by the state of Mexico. I know this pandemic hasn't allowed us to have this experience this year, but we must take advantage of these moments to continue learning, to be able to go back to traveling and get around the world. On behalf of the Secretary Gerardo Monroy Serrano, Subsecretary Maribel Góngora Espinosa, and the Governor Alfredo del Mazo Maza, receive warm congratulations for this event and continue pursuing our dreams. Thank you so much and good luck.
All right, thank you very much for those very kind words, Liz. Okay, guys, well, we're very close to the end. Okay, so I really have nothing more than appreciate all the beautiful effort by all the different people who participated and collaborated with us into this event. So colleagues, professors, students, thank you so much for your very, very kind effort. It was a marvelous event. Thank you to all of you and your beautiful research, dedication, videos, analysis, etc. So thank you very much for all the support, into making this dream come true. As Liz just mentioned, thank you very much to the authorities of the government of the state of Mexico. Thank you very much to everybody, community. We still have, some messages pending. So about all the things that we're going through at the end of this sequence, or this period or 4-month period we go through in the university, there's still some messages about evaluations, items, etc. So hang on to that. We're going to continue with all the communication, but more internally. And Thank you so much, community, everybody, for being with us, friends, family, co-workers, students, clients, everybody. Thank you so much for your presence and companionship with us throughout this event. And please remember, this is UPSI, all right? So the Polytechnical University of Cuautitlán Izcalli, so UPCI or UPSI, for all our fellows Spanish native speakers, all right? Please remember, keep in mind, we are Phoenix, we are UPSI. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.